server that time around, but we haven't seen them manage to hit that kind of form again just yet. Could FaZe be on the receiving end of it? The way that their luck has gone so far, I absolutely wouldn't put it past them. Now, interestingly, Jackie, we're going to have our first Malusi ban. We haven't seen one yet in LATAM. I don't think we have anyway.
No, you're right. You are 100% right. We have not seen Malusi banned out once. I'm almost certain. I put my life on that one, actually, because we were talking about it a lot.
We've been commenting on it, yeah. We've said a few times that they've been happy to just continue playing with her.
Oh, mate, yeah. Well, I mean, even when we spoke to people, we kind of had, like, the interview segment where a lot of players, I should say, rather, were literally saying how they're willing to keep them in. They'd rather just have both Malusi and Ace available, so it means that both sides can play with it because of the benefits they bring at times. Certainly a lot more favour towards Ace. He's been the higher pick rate by far. I think he actually might be one of the higher pick rate operators we've seen over the course of the entirety of Stage 2, Tim.
Absolutely. He's been a immediate replacement for Thermite. His breaching holes are not quite the same size, but they are certainly just as useful. If you get the Selma gadgets at the right height, you do create just a nice walk-through hole, absolutely no problems. And the big benefit that he has is the fact that A, there's 3 of them, and B, he can apply them at range. So you do have that, you don't have to get right up against the wall, which is often the sort of real danger zone for Thermite. That's when you're often going to get picked off by something like a Nitro, when you have to get right up there against the wall to apply that exothermic charge. But Ace just has that benefit where he can just launch it. And I tell you what, that man has got some guns on him, Jackie. He can launch those Selma charges.
Oh, dude, he's been getting resistance band training in for months. All over lockdown, he's been sat there getting those bad boys in, getting ready for him to come out of quarantine and be put into pro play. And I think it's paid off because he's got the big guns, Tim. The forearm strength on that man is ridiculous. I'd imagine those Selma devices, they got to have a bit of weight to them, at least somewhat. Surely a couple of kg.
I've heard, just what I've heard, Jackie, that he can throw a cricket ball through a breeze block.
That's ridiculous. That is absolutely insane. Almost as insane as Danielle believes the stream is today. Really enjoying it. Hashtag BR6. Thank you, Danielle. We do hope you are enjoying the show. And we also hope that more people will get those tweets in. Twitter was blowing up earlier when you were sending in your fan suggestions for which role the talent team would play inside of the Celebrity School of Siege. So tweet in. Keep them coming. Hashtag BR6. If you want to be featured on stream, we'll take it all on.
Certainly will. Producer Simon is intently watching, waiting to pick up those tweets, and he loves to put them in front of us. And we love the interaction that we get from you guys as well. It's a family affair here on LATAM. Everybody is welcome, and we just hope that you enjoy the games as much as we do. Every drop of passion that me and Jackie are able to drop on the microphones is purely genuine. We absolutely love these teams and games, and it's just the absolute highlight of our week, getting to be fortunate enough to voice them and bring them to you. But right now, let's focus back at hand. We are on coastline, round number 1, Furia versus FaZe Clan. Can FaZe show us that they are the team that went to the major? Can they reinforce their ability within the server, or are they going to struggle again? Let's have a look at the lineup. We've got KDS on the Ash. We've got Live this time on the book, so it looks like that change is sticking, Jackie.
It is indeed. Sticking to their guns, quite literally. I'm glad to see it. I think that's a good adjustment to make. Honestly, Tim, I reckon it'll work out for the better in the long run, massively for this team, with the adjustments that were made. Issue is going down first, not on the entry, but just in being entry fragged onto Live Falls. The Buck is not going to be running amok into round 1. 60 seconds remain now, as they've already got themselves a 5 versus 4 to play with. There's a lot of potential here for Furia to get a nice opening round. If they can keep the game slow, play for the trades off the back of the position they've now got themselves into. FaZe Clan, what is your move? How do you get yourself back into the game here? KDS, where's the play? He was a real big entry fragging machine last time we saw him, Tim. Hot droning in, following it as his guiding line of sight here, providing him entry as he clears angle by angle. Astro and KDS are probably going to get contact around the same time. Will they get their frags, though? Astro panicking as he comes around the doorway. Won't hit the initial shots, Tim, and is kept at bay. Time really ticking away now. This is the danger zone.
Novice has been a big factor so far. That's his second kill on the round. Fred gets in on the party as well, taking Yuna off the board, who was causing a bit of a nuisance of himself out in VIP, holding that long angle through towards site and just locking smoke in place. KDS, he will lock smoke into the grave as he fires down and shoots him out of the round, but Lender, he comes in with Bursa, and the big kills are there for Furia. They managed to finish things off on the defense there. That was a tough round, but a good one from Novice, particularly downstairs, shutting down the book, shutting down Astro. He just completely forwent any vertical pressure for Furia there, and that was very important. But also great was the shutdown of Yuna. We saw him get into VIP with the ace. It was about a minute before he died. He opened up that VIP wall with the Selma. If you've not seen that angle before, it's an absolute beauty. You can get a really long angle through, then all the way through double door, right through to billiards table, make it very difficult for the smoke to play. He's got the deployable shield in front of him, but that only creates a very small sort of cone of resistance, if you will, in terms of that line of sight. If he steps too far left or right, he's going to get gunned down. So FaZe, they got themselves into some good positions, but Furia looked extremely solid there.
Oh, dude, they look damn good. Like, that's a great round to come out with. Playing well on the start here. So putting a lot of pressure onto the key members of FaZe Clan early. They didn't really allow them to get anything into that. Ooh, all right. Is that going to be par for the course, though? Is this where the game is going to go from this point forward? Or FaZe Clan, can you immediately bite back into the action? That is where my curiosity is heading towards. Curry sliding the past him. I think it's fair to say it's been a really good map for FaZe, right? They've played consistently on it. Yuna especially, he still has one of the big clutches that go down in LATAM history in terms of the level of lethality that man served up. This time, talking of being lethal, Novice seems to be the one taking that role. Takes down both of the barricades early, gets out his black eye cams, so he has that open line of sight. Looking over and trying to get a read, seeing if it's worth him going for an early game run out. Novice, it's probably going to be the play to make. I feel like he's the one to really do the damage here to him in the early round. We saw it work for Psycho yesterday. What's to say it's not going to work now?
Out goes the Nitro toss. Detonated a little bit early, still above ground level at that point when it exploded. And won't do any damage there, but we do have big shots onto live. But that's not going to matter as Ion moves up and takes Novice out of the round with a headshot. That is going to be the Valkyrie gone by the wayside. We find ourselves 5 versus 4 now. It's always interesting to see when the Valkyries die, Jackie. I think I've said it before. It's sort of only, I class it as sort of 3/4 of a kill because obviously they've got really in-depth knowledge of exactly where those black eye cameras have been placed and what they were trying to achieve with them, the angles, where they were trying to peak, and they are now just straight on those cams feeding that information. And you know, they should really be the quickest, they should be the most knowledgeable about those cams, so it does give them a good opportunity still to support their team within the round. Fred, he's going to square things away with a kill onto Astro now, a long angle being changed. Challenged onto Lender there. He's just holding things down from the back of theatre, and that prevents the push moving through into VIP with any real confidence. And FaZe, they're trying to get themselves into VIP and established so that they can open up the vertical angles down into Kitchen. Right now, they've got the advantage, 4 versus 3, but still work to be done, half a round to do it.
Live, lurking around, looking for a potential frag to give FaZe a little bit more to work with. They've already got quite a lot into this round, but they are greedy for another pick. Issue is, their hunger won't help them, as Fred the Bread comes out and the baguette will banish another man, leaving them now in a 3 versus 3. Ion timing this nade, it could be down to the perfection if he drops it in the right area. Unfortunately, they've repositioned. It isn't going to help him, leaving them in a stalemate. Look at the health bars. Look at the sustainability of FaZe. That's what really does come up as a bit of a question mark. Wise taking shots to the knee, and the madman's just going to stand there. That adventurer's not getting up to anything anymore as he's been gunned down to him. 3v2, FaZe Clan. They have a huge chance of winning this round. That was nearly a headshot from Yunar as well. Bursa, tempting fate it seems if he wants to go for the run out. Looks like he will push and take the firefight towards him. A mistake to make as he's shut down by the AK. Response from Fred, finds the hurty-verty. Nearly the follow-up frag as well, pre-firing. If Yuna would have been a second quicker there, he would have taken a bullet straight to the cranium. Instead, we're in this scenario. A 1v2 with 10 seconds left. If Fred can deny the diffuser going down and then stay alive, he can win the round. Close left, as he heard the audio cue, pushes in, KDS spots it, and it's all gone wrong.
So close for Fred. I honestly thought he'd made the perfect move, Jackie. They had absolutely no idea where he was coming from or that the flank was going to come through bathroom, but he just couldn't get an angle. If he'd been a little bit quicker, potentially, he was getting constant pings as the two players moved in through the service entrance, and that entire wall in bathroom is soft. He could have challenged them and got the wall bang off potentially, and then in a 1v1, it's a very different story. But Fury are finding out firsthand there why vertical control is so important to Kitchen, because FaZe, they went in, they took it away from them, and they utilized it to the absolute max there.
All right. 1-1. Scoreline close. Game tied up, and a neat little package off the back of those initial opening rounds. This is good. It shows that it is actually going to be quite a close competitive series here, potentially on Coastline. We've already seen some bold plays from a lot of the individuals on Furia as well. Novice early on. The difference, maybe a couple more seconds could have made with that Nitro. It could have been a frag. But I'll tell you what, we definitely have a tweet coming in. Producer Simon firing through another one. Jackie and Ace are the wombo combo for LATAM. Hashtag BR6. Oh my goodness. There you go, Tim. That ain't Falco.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Oh, it's definitely a compliment.
Absolutely assume that's what that means.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a boomer.
What? Yeah, come on. You never played Smash Brothers?
No.
What? What? All right,
I love the shock registering on your voice.
I don't. How have you just never played Smash? That's ridiculous.
Honestly, I don't know. I've not really played. Not really played much on the sort of Nintendo side of things.
Oh wow. Right.
There we go.
That's really stumped me.
That's all I can throw in for you, Jackie.
Oh man. All right.
We need to get back to some sort of LAN environment, and then you know, we can sort out a little game. I have absolutely no resistance to it. I'm quite happy to go in and find out what the wombo combo is. You know, what am I a part of here?
Oh, definitely. We'll get into it. Genuinely, I'll come in. I'm a Kirby main, mate. I'll give you a taste of my hammer. It'll be a great little experience. Next time we're in a hotel room together, once things go back to normal, we'll make it happen, Tim.
Sounds like a promise.
Course of the round, though. We're down to about 2 minutes. Let's see where the wombo combo is going to be coming from into this one. Where's the final destination for this round? Who is going to be dashing their way in? Bursa spotting the close contact through those vertical grates. KDS, he's able to bypass. It's an awkward angle to hit from that position, so it makes sense he couldn't really land the shot. KDS a little bit paranoid about anything that could be placed towards Cool Vibes early on. But is he ready for who's entrenched just round the corner? Looking like Harry Potter, living under the stairway. But the difference is, rather than a broomstick, he's got himself a boomstick.
Vertical angles being opened up once again, and we saw how effective they were last time around. Now, Furia haven't taken any damage this time, but there is still plenty of time to hold on. We can see 1 minute 15 left on the clock. The close angle is being watched there at the bottom of the Cool Vibes stairs. Now, that is a big shotgun in the hands of Highs. He's just going to hold on for anybody trying to move down and pressure towards site. Usually the default plant spot here for the attackers would be inside of this pool entrance, and that is exactly where they are aiming for. The Selma device just opening up to make sure that there are no defenders able to comfortably play in behind there. Yuna moves in, takes his opportunity, starts to get that diffuser down. I can't see that he's realistically going to be challenged. Astro shutting out a big double before Lender trades him out, but this is too little too late. 1 versus 4. We find ourselves and quickly shut down. Double kill for Ion, 2 on the round for Yuna as well. I think it was a big play from them. FaZe looking sharp.
Serrated edge of FaZe Clan cutting its way through them, Tim. And now obviously getting themselves again the lead. It is a bit back and forth right now. I say a bit back and forth. It is literally back and forth. We've gone 1-2 on the split on the scoreline. Obviously FaZe getting a little bit more out of their attacking side though. I think the issue is as well, you look at FaZe, right? Last time we saw them play with the newfound setup they're going for, with KDS on entry, they look really good in attack. I feel like that's where they got a good footing. They were able to build a nice majority of rounds. Defense was about the same as it always is, but their attack definitely greatly improved off the back of this change. I think if anything, Live was performing better on his defense though. But Obviously, we'll see if that is consistent throughout the course of Coastline. In the past, they've done very well on their attack as well. Back towards the major, though, so the roster obviously suffering from the changes there. We'll see if it's maintained, Tim, as we go back into round 4.
Tweets are raining in at the minute. Producer Simon bringing us another one there late to the BR6 games today, but MIBR was the best siege I've ever seen. We did say beforehand that it was going to be an absolutely massive matchup, and yep, you're absolutely right. MIBR wiped the floor with NIP on Clubhouse. That's probably a reasonably fair description, being that it was 7-0, but adapting on the fly, and NIP, they got the way back into it and managed to draw it out. You are too kind to us, Dana, and we appreciate the tweet.
Absolutely. It was a banging first series to kick things off. We both had a lot of fun with that one. And hopefully this game will follow somewhat in its footsteps. Already, we've got some clean frags that have been picked up live. Yet to frag, unfortunately, 0-2. But his counterpart in KDS, 3-1. Ion's also having a really good game so far. 5 frags to his name. Sledgehammer by nature, Sledge by name. He is cutting down the opportunities from Furia into these rounds. Hopefully they can actually keep that up. Novice, once again, he's going for these really cheeky early fights into the middle of the round now, just stabbing out, taking a bit of a stab in the dark to see what he can get to him, but not too much off the back of that encounter. Left with 50 HP. Probably needs to lick his wounds and back off.
1 minute into the round then, a little bit of a slow start this time around. Certainly both teams showing each other a lot of respect at this point. Now, in goes the Selma device. That will open up the line of sight from VIP into Hooker that I spoke about previously. We might get a look at it, but I'm not too sure whether that was a little bit low, Jackie. It seemed to land very low on the wall, and I don't know if it's going to give quite the line of sight that they might have hoped for. It could be intentional. We'll have to see as the round progresses if we do get a look onto that line of sight. It may well be that it was just a perspective thing, and as we get closer, we'll see that it was actually higher, but tight angle being held through the drone hole there. It's one that can be very frustrating to lose a life or even a leg to as you move into VIP and try to challenge onto that. But I think realistically, if that angle is going to be used, it will be from further away, and further away from the server right now is live as he gets taken out by Lender. 5 versus 4 and another entry coming in for Furia here. They are able to keep hold of that bottom floor very, very well for the Hooker defense. We saw it back in round number 1, and they are continuing in the same vein. It was Novice last time around getting both of the kills. He is down there this time supporting the roam, but it's going to be Lender opening things up. 1 minute left to go, and FaZe, they've got a lot of work to do here.
All right, here we go. Last minute left. 4 versus 4 left. It's Fred. He's left out in the cold. Shut down. Gunned. Moving it up to the last 4 remaining members. Yuna fully committed to going for the plant inside of the smoke. Is shrouded, is protected, but can they provide Overwatch to keep him up? KDS cleaning up from the rear as he walks in on a rampage, shutting down Burster and looking to make his adjustment onto highs. Behind the deployable shield, but he's low. He's bleeding all over the game. It shouldn't take much for them to pick this one up and get another round for FaZe Clan. KDS locked in on the angle. An awkward encounter that he doesn't actually win out on, but the adjustment works out. Frags behind, killing Lender, then getting a shot on highs. And Astro with a final killing blow from a substantial distance spots out Novice and gets him in the back of the cranium, putting a bullet where his thoughts get processed and giving FaZe another round.
Easy for FaZe in round 4. They certainly seem to be hitting their stride now, and that could be a very, very dangerous thing for Furia. They need to be careful that they don't let this one slip too far away before they can make any real impression here on Coastline. Now, generally speaking, it's a reasonably balanced map, but if favour has to be given to either side, and I'm always cautious when I say that because there's a lot of people that will say it's a defender-sided map, it's an attacker-sided map, you know, whether that be Coastline or any other competitive map that we've got. But you've got to remember that needs to be spoken with a word of caution, in that the percentages that we're talking about when we talk about attacker-sided are quite often fairly limited. It tends to be that the attackers might win 54% of rounds. So, you know, we're not talking about 70% to 30%. We're not talking about that drastic a difference. So you might expect the attackers to come away with an advantage, so 4-2 maybe. But if FaZe are looking at a 5-1 here, then that is still a little bit outside of what we would expect to see, I would suggest. And Furia need to be careful. They need at least one more on the board here. I think given that Coastline does generally favour the attackers, I think it would be reasonable to say that 4-2 on the split is not the end of the world for them. They can fight their way back in from there. But 5-1 against FaZe, the way they're hitting shots at the minute, KDS on 6 kills, Ion on 6 kills, they're starting to find their feet. That could be a difficult comeback to try and mount.
5 seconds to go. Setting up a diversion.
Okay. FaZe. They're going to get themselves another round, or is this where Furia do come back into it? They need some solid gameplay now on their defensive side, Tim. Potentially have to switch it up, move away from the standard style we've seen in the past. I think for Furia especially, right, we normally look at their defensive half and say this is where they excel in Siege, especially for Fred. He has still had a little bit of a showing. Nothing akin to what we normally see for the big man himself, though. It just feels like the whole roster's a little bit quiet right now, and it's a shame. Because this is a game where you have an opportunity to run amok, do some damage against FaZe and secure some potential points. But FaZe, they've turned up to play tonight. And they are certainly messing up the livelihood of Furia over the course of these past couple of rounds. In round 5, though, bit by bit, once again, a slower style of attack coming out. Ooh. I was trying to see if he was actually going to drop that down, if he had set it up, because it looked like there was enough of a gap in the floor as well. It could have potentially fallen in and gotten frag off the back of that. 2 layers of pain, Tim, with that nade.
Long angle going to be challenged here from Hall of Fame just to try and dislodge the man out of theatre. I believe it's Lender on the Jaeger again. That's who we saw in there last time around. Challengers coming in. KDS taking damage here, but still the battle continues between the two. Fred will take Yuna out. In comes the nade. That is not going to move Lender. He's going to keep himself locked in. KDS shut down on the vertical angle by Bursa, and that is now all of a sudden 5 versus 3, 5 versus 2, as Fred gets himself another on the round, and things are starting to fall apart for FaZe. Furia fighting their way back in, as I suggested they need to. They are going to close in here. Kitchen and Service, Live and Astro, they've got a lot of work ahead of them. They do have a lot of seconds left on that clock in order to achieve it, Jackie. That much is fair to say. Shots coming in from Luggage, but Lender on the tight angle shuts down Live. Astro, he moves in aggressively. Ooh. He's got no other choice. He steps up above the shield, the head above the parapet, taken down by Fred, and that is going to be a round to Furia. 2 versus 3 now on the scoreboard.
All right, this is way better. This is what we wanted to see from Furia. They're getting a bit of momentum back, and they're getting a much-needed round. Can they get one more, though? If you can divvy this up, 3.5, you're going to be content with it. It's not going to be the worst outcome. It's not going to be the best outcome, but it's one that is a level playing field for you to then get a little bit more as you transition over to your attacking half. FaZe, though, they won't be content with the idea of this being an even-Steven split down the middle. They will want to be gunning for a 4th round coming into this. KDS has still been very clean on the entry. We're seeing more as this game goes on. We need to see everything from him into this following round if they will be able to get themselves that advantage, Tim.
Certainly are, and as we say, Ion and KDS, they've certainly been the best of the bunch so far for FaZe, but neither of them managed to pick up a kill in that last round, and as you say, if they want to get the advantage going into the half, they're going to have somebody step up. You know, it wouldn't actually be the end of the world for it to be one of those other players. Live is just struggling again, Jack, here. Don't want to keep piling onto him, but it's 1-4 on the scoreboard after 5 rounds, and, you know, we've come to generally expect a little bit more, and he's had some tough games so far in this stage, and for one reason or another, whatever that might be, he just seems to be struggling getting into the round. It's, you know, not that he's really playing on the support, it's Yuna that's bringing the diffuser along. He's the man that's going in to get those plants down, and, you know, Live, I think it's fair to suggest he's playing in a flex role at this point. He's, you know, bringing some utility. He's doing what the team needs to be done, covering angles. But at the same time, in those flex roles, especially in modern day Siege, you need people to be picking up frags as well. You know, you can't just be sort of any more than one pure support in a team, really.
We'll see, man. Maybe there's more to be done for him live. Obviously, I think he was performing a little bit better last time we saw him on defense. It's a shame as well, because beforehand, back in stage 1, we saw so much. He was giving us reasons to rant and rave, Tim. It feels like recently it's just been a lot more ranting, which is a bit of a shame. Ooh, Astro nearly being shamed there as he peeks out. But I tell you what, KDS is the one that's going to do the damage, coming in like an eraser as he reduces Lender to nothing. No signs of him even existing into this round after he's finished with him. Now they've got a lot of map control to play with as well. 4 versus 4. Damage-wise, they've sustained an awful lot. Both KDS and Astro are quite low. It's knocking them down to around the 25 to 50 HP margin. So that could haunt them the longer this one goes on. Cam-wise, they're still sending out those drones, using every last helping of utility they've got left into this round, because they know they've got 1 minute and 40 seconds. You don't have to rush things. You've got an entry frag. They got to pick back. Build off the back of it, and don't let it turn into a stalemate. I'll tell you what, Astro's going to be stale. out of his packaging. Ripped clean open there, Tim, with the shots coming out from Fred on the alibi.
Furia finding themselves the advantage then in terms of man count, 1 minute 25, so still plenty of time for FaZe to achieve what they need to here, but they need to be using those drones, I think, gathering information. They seem to just be going into these gunfights a little bit light on sort of awareness as to where everybody is, and that's a good example there. Ion with the nade trying to just explode it under the floor, but he's just half a second away from the beat there, and he sees the nade bounce back off those ceiling joists and just sort of drop down too far away to actually impact on the player above. So unable to make any real challenge onto the site with that, and just sort of sums FaZe up a little bit for me at the minute. Just sort of half a step behind the beat. Now, we can see out comes the smoke utility from Live. He is trying to prepare a default plant spot, but out comes the nitro in return unsuccessfully. We've got a man down on the side of Furia. However, Highs will shut down KDS. And a second onto Live. Fred gets in on the action with the kill onto Ion. That's going to be Furia leveling things up, squaring us away. 3-3 on the half.
Oh, damn. All right. That was a solid round. Much needed one as well. Puts it back to a 3-3 scoreline, so they do actually at least keep it close there, Tim, and it looked better. It seems like Furia, they're starting to wake up now, looking more like the Furia of old, and a side that we've kind of been hoping to see. They're really inconsistent as of late, which is a shame, because when they play some of their best Siege, it is very fun to watch. FaZe, it feels like they're slowly climbing back towards their former glory, but into this game, it is a very equal fight. Both of these opposition looking quite close in terms of skill at the minute. But we switch things up, obviously side swap-wise. FaZe will now move on to their defense. We get Furia on the attack. I don't know who this is going to favor now. It feels like it's far too close to comfort, to call rather. In a lot of these rounds, I don't know, Tim. It's just feeling quite rough. FaZe Clan, they're getting a bit of momentum here and there. They're hitting their shots. KDS is certainly having a game. He's backed up by Ion and Astro. Over on the side of Furia, though, it feels like it literally is just Fred that's popping off, with everyone else filling in the gaps now and then.
I'm just having a look at the stats back for stage 1 out of interest, Jackie, for Live, and just seems like quite a different player. 147 kills to 135 deaths, you know, plus 12. So not your straight up entry fragger. He's 1.09 on the KD, certainly not too shabby. 21 and 18 on the entry, plus 3 overall. Second best on the team, only bettered on entry by Yuna, effectively. Although Astro did get more entry frags than him, he did take more deaths as well. And interestingly though, Live had 19 plants, the highest number of plants on the side of FaZe previously. So we've seen that diffuser handed off to Yuna, and it just seems like it's having quite a big effect, these changing roles to Live.
Ooh, all right. Looks like we are actually having everyone drop out. So I'm guessing we'll just get a rehost on the go for that. A bit of an unexpected one, Tim, thrown into the mix. Snuck up on us.
It did a little bit. All the players just bailing there. There was obviously a little bit of a problem. They were being quick about it because it's within the first 30 seconds of the round. So long as nothing's happened, you can get it remade and get back in. There could have been a sound bug, or there's many things that could have caused it. We will get you back in as soon as possible. The first half of Coastline has just finished up. Furia versus FaZe. 3-3, so absolutely nothing to separate these two teams at the minute. Both have had big moments, both have had mistakes, I think it's fair to say as well, and the other teams, they have leapt on them at any given opportunity to put a round on the board. So far, I'd say so good for Furia. I think FaZe would have been looking to be a little bit more dominant in this matchup.
Oh, yeah. Especially after what we saw last time, right? Like, it felt like FaZe, they kind of realized, I can't say remedied for some reason. They've remedied the issues, Tim, that they found, right? They realized what was going wrong. They've been able to adapt. The roles change definitely is still working better. KDS does look like he's really good on the entry. It seems like he has slotted in and found his footing relatively quickly. But for Live, I don't know. It's weird that he's gone so quiet because it wasn't working on entries. Clearly, they've tried to put him into a bit more of a supportive role where it is not as much pressure on him, but he's still just not hitting his shots. And this is different even compared to last time we saw him in an outing, because he was actually popping off. He was cleaning up into a round, not on entry, but on late round. He was getting impact frags, whereas on Coastline at the minute, still really quiet. It is the attack, though. Potentially on defense, it might be a bit better for him. Also off the back of the rehost as well. If there's anything sort of a bit negative going on, you've got to shake it out, go full Taylor Swift, get the dirt off your shoulders and get back into the game, Tim.
I think the big problem at this point is that he's now had a few bad weeks behind him. So as soon as it starts heading in that direction, you know, we've had JP mention it a couple of times. If we look at Insu, you know, we spoke to him after the back end of the last game, and, you know, he's spoken about the mental element of the game and the work that they've been doing as a team to help the players deal with those elements. And again, you know, I'm not suggesting this is the case for Live. It's just, you know, surmising from what we've got in front of us. Imagine how I might feel in that position. And if I've had like such a bad showing early on in the stage, and then you get to a point where you're middle of the game, you've only one kill on the board, you're struggling to get yourself into it, that's going to start playing into my mind, and I'm going to be thinking, I'm not on for that sort of performance again, am I? You know, the confidence is going to be impacted by that, and it certainly seems to be the case because, you know, Live is continually now having these struggles, and we don't want to see it. Like you said, you know, coming out of the stage 1.1 KD, he was certainly a positive influence on his team, got a lot of plants. He just seems to have found himself in, I don't know, some strange middle ground maybe since Mav has left. You know, that's all that we can really sort of suggest. That's been the big change. That's been the big factor for FaZe, is the fact that Mav's been lifted out of that team. KDS has come in. Obviously, a few things have had to change because Live's had 19 plants last time around, but now that's going over to Yuna more than anything. And he came in initially on the Ash, going straight out entry frag to begin with, and that didn't work, so it's swapped around. And it just seems like there's sort of a bit of a treadmill of changes going on at the minute, and he seems to maybe be struggling to settle down and adapt to that.
It's rough. It is a bit rough. Hopefully he'll still get back into it. Obviously, you know, we've only just played out the first half. We're going into the second half now as we return to the game. Back on Coastline then, as we get into the action. Let's see if there is any opportunity for him to resurge here on the second half. This is also our first map. If you're joining us now, don't worry. There's still, of course, an entire other map to go after this one. It is a best-of-2 format that we play here throughout LATAM in the BR6. So let's see who will be on top when the dust settles. 3-3 was the split at the end of the first half. Now we have Furia over on attack and FaZe on defense.
We have plenty of scintillating siege action yet to come your way. Don't you worry. A full game and a half yet to go to answer just exactly how this one shapes up, who's going to take what points away, Furia and FaZe. Now, Furia, you've got to remember, in the overall standings, the combined standings across both stages, Furia currently sit at the bottom of that table, so they have got work to do to try and get themselves away from those all-important relegation spots, where they will, of course, play off against the Serie B, the second division teams in the BR6, who will be trying to get themselves into the big leagues at the end of the season. So Furia, they're going to be fighting hard to secure any points they can now. They've already equaled their points total from stage 1 with 3 points secured in stage 2. They've done very well so far and shown some good growth, and they'll be hoping to continue that against FaZe. Now, interestingly, if we look towards the standings based only on this stage, and that is how the major positions will be decided, FaZe currently at the bottom of the pile, Jackie, and that is not like FaZe. That is not where we expect them to be.
Oh, definitely not. For anyone that's unfamiliar, of course, as well, they came second at the last regional major. Obviously, with everything that's going on, it was just exclusive to Brazil, but they did come second, only to NIP, losing out in that best-of-5 final in record time, Tim. Since then, it feels like it's only been getting worse. Now they're starting to improve a bit, getting back somewhere near their former level. But it's hard. The adjustment period since losing Mav has done so much damage to the structural integrity of this team. Let's see, though, if the integrity of their defense will be better than what we had from them on attack now at round 7. 2 minutes on the clock. Furia already gaining a bit of map control. Novice, he's pushing up and he's waiting for a peek to come around. Sneaking suspicion that there's a Valkyrie around the corner. She will get up close and personal, but won't swing round and give him that clear shot into the back of her noggin. They nearly baited her by using the drones. Would have been a really smart play if she had fallen into it. Hook, line, and sinker. But for now, she is still alive and floating.
Holding down those main stairs on an angle at the moment now. I don't think Fred's aware, but if he was just to aggress onto this, I think with a very careful walk, he could well sneak up on the Valkyrie. I think that opportunity might be missed as turns to potentially try to challenge on now. Twitch moving into sight, a double from Live. That's what we want to see, Live. Come through, get a big double K. Ion joins in. one for himself. KDS makes it now 5 versus 1. That is exactly what Live needed. As you say, Jackie, maybe just the switch onto defense. That will be all the change required for him to find his feet and start gunning here on Coastline. But right now, there is a huge task ahead of Highs. He's up on the rooftop, just going to hold his angles and see for the time being he can burn 20 seconds or so and just see if he can get a cheap angle and an easy kill onto somebody down there just to try and level out the odds a little bit in his favour, but this is going to be a huge ask for him.
Aerials way up high. Let's see what Highs can do from this point. If there's any opportunity to bring down FaZe. Oh, breaking his legs, but breaking the face of Ion with a quick adjustment. 1 versus 4 now. 30 seconds left. Time is ticking by. The likelihood of him really getting much out of this is very, very slim. But to at least get some frags to walk away with towards the end, you're going to be smiling. And that nade is going to permanently remove the face from Live. He's doing his best Yunar impression at the minute, Tim. Keeping it up as he can time that one to open up the floorboards to try and take a peek at some feet. Doesn't work out in the manner he wanted it to, though. 5 seconds. If they actually peek him, they're giving him 3 frags. But it won't matter. The round is over anyway. It's done.
It would have been nothing more than stat padding at that point to pick up any additional kills. As you say, the round was done and shut down very nicely by FaZe. It was Live and Ion, particularly inside of sight, just managed to deal with that oncoming rush. Novice on the Twitch just dashing into sight, trying to catch them unawares, but Live, he was alert to the danger. He was on the smoke and just completely decimated the man, taking him out of the round and out of the server. That was much, much better from Live, and I've got to say I'm happy to see it, Jackie. You know, we say this repeatedly. We never like to see anybody struggling for kills on the server. We want to see these teams coming out at absolute full force, and Live there just getting himself running, and hopefully he can see a little bit more action coming into the round. How about that flick? That was an absolute beauty onto Ion and Luggage there, just at the window. Eyes just wheeling round, and then a nice nade to follow it behind bar, but unfortunately impactless. The kills didn't really mean too much as he was unable to get himself back into the round from there, but still nice to take them with you.
Oh yeah, you know, you pop those kills into your sarcophagus and they might help you into the next life, or at least the next round, Tim, as we go into round 8. A 4-3 split on the scoreline so far. FaZe Clan, you got yourself a good defense opener. Can you keep that ball rolling, though? You're going to be able to make more of a mockery out of them. And specifically, will Live be bringing more decibels into round 8? You got 2 kills. Really clean stuff. Good impact frags to find. Also, he's on a pivot or operator as well. Having Live on the smoke, if you can just keep him alive, that's all you really need to do in a round. Even if he's not getting that much impact with Big Pucker Pump, with the shotgun, as long as he's still got those smoke cans in reserve, Tim, when it comes down to the final 40 to 30 seconds, you can waste so much time that he will still be playing a gigantic role to the team.
Alibi Prismas being deployed inside of Theatre, and we've said this before, the reason that the extension there of the defense into Theatre and Penthouse is basically to prevent the attackers being able to get in and get control of VIP. They know that they can't just lock themselves into that location until they've cleared out Theatre, because if they do, if they turn their focus away for a second, they are going to get hit on the flank by the defenders of FaZe. So before they can go in and start ripping up the floorboards and doing that renovation work to get the vertical angles down into the kitchen, they have to go in and try to clear out the Theatre side of things. And it's never easy if you're playing against those long angles. You've got the deployable shields, you've got the utility in place, such as the Alibi Prismas. It makes life tough, and it's all about wasting as much time as possible.
Okay, 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Time is going to play a pivotal role into this round once again. Ion on the Alibi, this time getting shot down to 50 HP. Fairly quick smart. Ooh, won't matter though, as it's just health damage when the actual frags are being found in favour of FaZe. Punishment being given to Furia. They're going to be furious with what's just occurred. Both Lender and Novice dead. That's the newcomers blown to pieces, leaving it just on the old guard. But Highs comes out strong with a flick shot onto the cranium of KDS, cutting him down a peg. Astro is effectively almost dead as well. That Jaeger is lucky to be alive. He is just a head that is rolling across the floor at this point. But if he keeps himself up, it could help them out in the late round. They find the frag back onto Ion though, shutting down the Alibi. We'll now know, of course, the prisoners that remain are just that, just ghosts in the Matrix, and nothing that will actually provide any support to FaZe Clan. 3v3 then, Tim, with 50 seconds left. Can they win this one?
Vertical control is in the hands of Furia at the moment, and they are going to town right now on these vertical angles and onto the head of Live as bullets rain down and rip through him and take him out of the round. 3-2 we find ourselves in terms of man count now. Astro, he very gingerly approaches the site. He's on 1 HP and a dream at this moment in time. Yuna, he's off site back in the main lobby. Astro has to bail away as well. He can't even take a shot to the toe, to the finger, to a hair on his head at this point in time without losing his life. He needs to be able to fight to try and deny that plant. He's holding the long angle onto service door. It does just make the man think twice and back away, but with 7 seconds to go, there is not going to be the good grace of time for Furia before long. Yuna gets one onto Fred to square things away 2-0. Pressure comes in from the window and a 2K at the same time as FaZe, they get the win. Based on the time, Furia unable to make an impression there despite dropping the defenders. The Maestro was down but not out.
But the luck for Furia seems to be running out. So we do have a replay from that round as well that we can take a look at to get into this one. Alright, this was nice. The cleanup kills that came in, obviously good play. There was a lot of tasty little frags into that round. And it leaves us in this delicacy of a position. A 5-3 split on the scoreline going back into round 9. FaZe coming back in off the rehost into the second half. It's just been win after win. 2 rounds back-to-back there. Can they make it 3 on the spin, Tim? Get themselves a guaranteed draw out of this and know that they have a lot of stock to play with. At that point, you're so close to a victory. It won't take much for them to push it over the mark and get a 7-3 victory here on Coastline if they can. We know how damn good they are normally on Coastline, so it's not too surprising if they're able to maintain this.
I think they probably will at this point in time. They're looking even better since they've got onto the defence. There was a few struggles on the attack, but they are having absolutely no problem locking this down. That last round was pretty tight. I think it's fair to say it was certainly down to the wire. Pretty sure the Maestro of Yuna was downed in main lobby, but with that time ticking away, it didn't matter. They weren't able to get that killing shot onto him. And the fact that he managed to just drag himself across the floor to some semblance of safety meant that they could close the round out. And that must be very frustrating for Furia to have lost it in that way. But right now, we're going to be heading to Blue Bar. There is a lot of attention being paid to Kitchen, a lot of attention being paid to Penthouse and Theatre upstairs. So that is obviously where they're expecting pushers to come in from FaZe Clan here. That is where they want to hold Furia away from. Again, prevent them getting... Basically, Penthouse and Theatre can be used as an extension to prevent access to anywhere on the top floor because you can get there so quickly. So here, they're thinking about Hooker and Billiards because that is above the site. That's where you're going to get your vertical angles from primarily. There is an element of thinking about VIP as well because they've got a man in kitchen. So the man in kitchen is trying to hold down the push from service entrance, which could then move through kitchen and get a nice long angle into Sunrise. So they're trying to hold down kitchen. So therefore, put men in Penthouse and Theatre, and that will help hold VIP to stop vertical pressure onto the man in kitchen. But you've also got the option of rotating to Hooker Billiards if they try to get any vertical angles from there. Now, Ion's going to open things up. That's Lender going by the by on the Ash, coming in looking for entry frags, but the only thing he will find is his own death as he's closed out of this one in quick fashion. And once again, Furia, they're fighting hard. Fred has been doing some big work so far, Jackie, putting up some real numbers.
Oh, he has indeed. Fred stepped up massively. Normally it's his defense where he plays quite strong, but coming into this now, he's getting a little bit of room to breathe over on his attacking half. If he can keep it up, he could be the lifeline they need. Right now, though, it's 4 versus 4. There isn't a long amount of time left on this one. Obviously, time getting down to about the final 60. It will be there pretty soon. So it means that FaZe, they have to ramp this one up. They've got to go sharpish if they're going for anything strong in terms of their defense. If they are going to go aggro, Furia, they need to push in. But they're going to be funneled in for a single choke point. 2 players, they might have 2 entryways, but there's a big shotgun waiting on the front door to smash into pieces if they do push in. Their teeth are going to be flying. Their fillings will be shattered. if they head towards this doorway. Timing it with the nades. They want to bounce that in. It should force him back. But oh, look, there's an ADS. And oh, look, there's a slug in your face. Shotgun 2K coming out. Drops down the second man. Unfortunately, it's the team kill from Astro that denies Yunar getting any more into that one. But it won't matter. Highs, he's down but not out. But it feels like they're out of chances across the board. A 1v2 for Novice. No opportunity to recover his teammate and revive him. But can he revive the round? No! The shot he'll pay dividends. Big Papa Pump saying hello. A family reunion as it gets up close to Novice and blows him back into the second map.
Live able to do a great job there, Jackie. We saw him being challenged just at the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs, and if you saw, he just absolutely dropped to the deck, hit the prone, got himself in behind the planter there, nice and safe. But then, as soon as the man dipped away, he took the opportunity to relocate. He dashed his way into kitchen, changed his angle of attack, and also, very importantly, and this is quick thinking from Live, by doing so, he closed the angle. He made that a shorter approach. So when he was coming out with the shotgun, it's then in his favor. He's at a range. There we go. That's the perfect moment. The one that I was talking about. That range is not favorable for a shotgun to challenge. But by dashing himself into kitchen, then he's in CQC territory. He's coming round that corner tight and just completely destroys the man on the angle.
Oh my. Dude. That's big. They're just giving them the opportunities as well. They're going in so late. But there's no opportunity for you to go anywhere else. You funnel in towards a shotgun. If it would have been the game over, like GG2K as well, where he sat there with 3 versus 1 off the back of that. But, you know, they threw him a bone. FaZe, they team killed to at least give him a bit of an opportunity coming back into that one. Furia, they had a fighting chance in the first half, Tim, but ever since they've got plopped onto their attack, they've just been getting plopped on. FaZe Clan dropping on them, absolutely annihilating them round after round, blowing them out of the water like death charges. And Furia, I think death is the next thing they will see. If they lose this round, the game's going to be over. It will go 7-3, and we'll move on to the second map, the second and last map of the day. We'll go into Oregon for one final time tonight if FaZe Clan can shut this game down. Ion going for the early cam plays, chucking them both out so he's got the information to build off the back of. He can look towards the spawns, play that reconnaissance, and him and Astro can try and get aggro if they want to.
Furia are yet to win an attack here on Coastline against FaZe. They have been 100% so far. A complete rotation of 3 sites leads them back to the first that they defended here on Hooker back in round number 7 now. In round number 7, Live opened things up for us, and ever since we had a look at those stats, Jackie, during that rehost, and we spoke about Live, he has come back out strong. Switching onto the defense was apparently all he needed to find his feet, and he's having a much better time of things at the moment, and it's good to see. We don't want to see anybody struggling here. We want everybody at peak performance now then. Switch of Novice is going to have to be careful on the rappel there. There are a number of angles that you can be challenged from, a number of peaks and jump outs, run outs. It can be a tough area to hold on to, can that double window.
We'll see if there's going to be double the amount of frags coming out into this round. This Furia, they need all the help they can get. Swinging into sight. Novice, will he be able to execute this one perfectly? Will he be looking like Peter Parker, or will it be more parked outside the map if he takes a bullet straight to the face? Attempt to push up, but the smoke cans are going down. This is just wasting so much time, Tim. They can't even fully commit to the diffuser being cracked open. Nearly cracking open a couple of heads, but that goes in favor of Yunar. Maestro conducting this round closer towards a win. They do bite back, though. They got a fighting chance now. It's 4 versus 3, but Lender, he's starting the smoke. He's breathing it in. The sanguine arsenic going to destroy his lungs, fiber by fiber, until he falls over, leaving it in a 3-on-2. FaZe Clan, it's all down to Astro and KDS. What can you do here, boys? Is there anything to salvage this one? Connection onto Fred. She's gone. As the Arna's out of play. Bursa and Highs, the last 2 remaining members of Furia, in a horrendous position. They've got utility, though. Nade dashed out, and the nade will detonate perfectly. Destroying the dreams of FaZe now. It's all on KDS. Wamai, the Stone Cold Killer, surely can see his head in the window. He's probably around the corner. Pre-fire on the peak, Tim. Hiding behind the bomb chassis. That could have been the 2K to end the game right here, right now. Instead, he's left in a 1v1, but Bursa peaks. And Bursa gets gunned down, slain by KDS. The Wamai Whammy double kill. The clutch goes their way, and FaZe take the map.
Bursa having so much joy with that nade the first time around as he closed out Astro in hooker. He thought he'd give it another try, but all it did was take his finger off the trigger when he needed it there the most, when the challenge was coming, and KDS was able to close out the round. Now, that was hard fought from FaZe in round number 10 there. It certainly wasn't a given. It looked at one point like things might go differently. I was very excited to see Ion moving underneath the map. We had